Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel, A Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships, as well as looking at healing from them. And today's video, the narcissistic kiss of Spanish football. So I'm sure by now many of you will have seen the footage of the Spanish Women's Football World Cup, where the president of the Spanish Football Association, Luis Rubiales, kissed one of the players, Jenny Hermoso, full on the lips after the World Cup as they were getting their medals and, you know, saying thank you to each other. He took her head, pulled her towards him and kissed her full on the lips. So I'd love to know what you think of this. You can pop your comments down below. Do you think this was wrong action or the right action? What are your feelings? Before I get into the body of the video, if you enjoy it, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and share with your friends and family. I really need to increase the subscribers to my channel, so I would really appreciate it if you could share and get your friends to subscribe. So I'm going to link, if I can, some of the footage of what happened at the end of the match in the description box below, so you can go and have a look. But it is easily accessible online. If you search Spanish football kiss, you will come up with it. So Luis Rubiales, he is the president of the Spanish Football Association, or Federation as it's known there. And he took it upon himself at the end of the match to kiss Jenny Hermoso on the lips. She had not consented to this. Now, at the time that this happened, she was obviously elated at having won, at you know, making the finals, you know, actually winning the World Cup. It's a feat. It's a wonderful feat. It's a remarkable feat for a women's football team. So she didn't actually at the time say anything to him. Now, I'd love to hear from you ladies who have gone through something similar, where somebody's kissed you without your consent and you didn't know what to say or do. Or perhaps they touched you inappropriately and you didn't know what to say or do because you were in shock. And these things cause trauma in women. And I'm sure the same would be for men as well. Now, it wasn't just this kiss that has sparked off this whole debate of misogyny and systemic misogyny within the game of football. I don't think it just is within football, but I think it's also within pretty much every aspect of our lives. And as you know, I'm a feminist and I stand against misogyny of all kinds. It's in my book, it's wrong. I've been a victim of misogyny and I will never be a victim again. So you've received unwanted hugs, kisses, touches. How many of you have been felt up? How many of you have had your breasts fondled without your consent, or your bottom slapped, or that hand in the middle of the back guiding you? I hate that. These things, women don't want them. Men think we do, but women don't actually want them. And it's encroaching on our space and on our bodily autonomy, that we are in charge of our bodies and we say who touches our bodies and who doesn't. In my book, what happened was a form of sexual abuse. Now, this man has actually got form for this, and I believe there's a court case going on, or started, where a lot of the male members of the Spanish Football Federation have actually made misogynistic remarks and done similar things to the women. In fact, I believe 15 women actually said they're not going to play until this is sorted out. Good for them. I stand in solidarity with them. But to me, what Rubiales did was abusive. There was no consent for the kiss. He grabbed her head, so she had no way of getting away from him He later carried her over his shoulder in a fireman's lift across the pitch. Whether she consented to that or not, I don't know. But another thing that he did was during the, I think the winning minutes when the whistle was blown, he was sitting close to the royal box, the Spanish royal box, and he grabbed his groin and thrust his groin outwards in a sexual movement. Now, I've been following this story online through various news outlets, and I have commented on various YouTube outlets, and I hope and pray that some of the men, and it's men, that have been discussing this with me or arguing with me or defending themselves for their disgusting behaviours will watch this and hopefully learn a little bit about the way women want to be treated. Not only do they want to be treated, but should be treated. And women should be treated with dignity and respect. They are not objects. And one person actually said to me, yes, we're all objects. No, we're not. Because human beings have feelings and emotions, therefore they are not objects. Objects don't have feelings and emotions. So women in Spain are protesting against this, and I think that is wonderful. I think it's brilliant. I think we need to. I am a woman who has experienced unwanted attention from men. This goes to wolf whistling, being shouted at through a car window. I remember being a child on a bus going to school, and a man was sat playing with himself, deliberately showing us himself. We were all girls on the bus. And what do you do in that situation? Well, we laughed because, you know, what else could we do? And I'm talking about the 80s here. But we're now in the 2020s. This kind of behavior should end. Now, I'd also had other comments on the feed that I was commenting on, and my stance was, you know, she did not consent to this. It is not acceptable. A lot of the male comments were, well, it was excitement in the heat of the moment, and, you know, men do this all the time, and men kiss each other in a football match, and that's men kissing men. Women kissing women in their football match, fine. You know, they play together, they're on a team, they know each other. But a man kissing a woman like that is wrong. Also, and I will say the same thing the other way around, a woman kissing a man like that would be wrong. But I can pretty much 99.9% guarantee that a woman wouldn't actually do that, because women tend to be more aware of bodily autonomy. Men don't. So I've had men telling me that it was okay because it happens in all sports, and we should embrace each other and kiss each other without fear of anything, and it should be something that happens all the time. Well, no, I don't want some stranger in the street coming up to me and hugging and kissing me, thank you very much. You know, my body is my body, my space is my space, as is your space and your body. Women back in the 50s were subservient, and this systemic misogyny has encroached into our lives prior to that. I'm talking going back into the Victorian era and even before that, where women were seen as less than men. And we have fought for the vote, and we have fought for our rights, and at every step of the way we are pushed down by men, because they're afraid that they will have to change their behavior. And this is what I believe this comes down to, is that men don't want to change their behavior. One of the men who was arguing with me was this is what he said, he claimed to be a football coach for children, for a girls' team, little kids, and that he would hug them and kiss them and pat their bottoms. That's not right. That's bordering on paedophilia. You know, a coach shouldn't be doing that. Things like that used to happen, but these sort of things should not be happening now. It's not okay. If you want to hug and kiss your child, your own child, that's up to you. And, you know, that's your call. But when it's somebody else's child, come on, guys, you know, it's not acceptable, is it? If it was your daughter, would you accept it? I want you to put yourself in the father position there. Would you accept it? We are, a lot of the male behavior that we have today still falls around this systemic behavior of women must be in the kitchen, they're the ball and chain, we must do all the cooking and the cleaning, as well as now these days going out to work and making a living. And there was a book, I think, back in the 50s, I can't remember the actual title of it, but it was something to do with making, you know, how to be a housewife in the 1950s. And it was all about your husband comes home from work, you make sure that you look pretty, you've got fresh lipstick on, you've taken your apron off, you sit him down in his chair, give him his slippers, his pipe, you go and present dinner, feed him, he goes and sits back down again, maybe reads the newspaper or watches TV, you then go and do the dishes, etc., etc., etc. So you are subservient to the man. And these subservient traits still exist today where a male partner will ask a female partner, oh, will you get me a drink, please? When they're sat there next to you, but you will ask, can you get me a drink, please? Or can you get me this? Or can you get me that? Because they're of the mindset that asking your wife or your partner to do these things is okay because that's what they're there for, because we belong to them. No, we don't. Times have changed, guys. You need to wise up. You need to start treating women the way that we should be treated, with respect, with dignity. The fact that women are still paid less than men in many different fields and many different jobs is unfair. Why? Why? Well, the reasons are because often women have to take time off work to give birth to their children and to look after the children. And men don't do that. So men get paid more, women don't. It's this, if you have a penis in your pants, you'll get paid more. If you don't, you won't. Until men start to teach each other, and I specifically implore men of this day and age to begin teaching each other that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. And I will say there was probably about a third of the comments that I came across were men who said that they disagreed with the behavior and that other men need to sort themselves out. So I thank you to all of you men out there who are aware of this and who are hopefully now going to call this behavior out with your friends and family. And one man even went so far as to say to me, what am I supposed to do now when I go to the pub and pick up a woman? How am I supposed to kiss her? Well, you know, think about it for a while. And then he said, women love it. No, we don't. We really, really don't. You're probably taking advantage of them when they're drunk. And in the morning, they may well wake up and go, I really didn't need that in my life. I really didn't want that. So listen to them. Learn to read body language. But most of all, guys, teach each other that this behavior is not acceptable. Basically, what was happening is DARVO, which is deny, attack, reverse offender. So these men were saying to me, well, no, it wasn't that bad. It was just a peg. They were excited. Deny. And then attack. Well, you women, you do this and you do that, and we should be able to do this and we should be able to do that. And then reverse offender, but so-and-so does this and you do that and you do this. Can you see the cognizance that goes on here? The justification that they give themselves for doing these things. Men, stop. Listen to those of your brothers who tell you how to treat women and that women don't want to be harassed on the street. We don't want a man feeling our breasts or bottoms without our consent. We don't want to be kissed on the lips without consent. We don't want to be wolf whistled at. We don't want to be catcalled. We don't want to receive dick pics on our phones. We really don't. I mean, come on. They're not attractive. And some of the ones that I've received could do with a good wash and a clean pair of underpants. And it's just sad that men seem to think that this is acceptable in this day and age, and it really isn't. So I'd like to ask all men out there, those that know and those that don't know, think about your actions. Think about how you would like your wife, your mother, your daughter to be treated. And don't kiss women without consent. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.